In this video, we're going to talk about what it actually takes internally to succeed as a coach. This is all about the inner game. I sit down with my marketing manager, Michelle, and we open up what we know to be true about what causes success and what causes failure in this particular industry. And if you don't know me, my name is Sean Smith, and I've been coaching for over 15 years. I've been teaching coaches for well over a decade. And my business has generated over $6 million over that time. And I've tried everything and I've seen just about everything. And so this video is going to be me reporting to you and us sharing with you what we know, what we're passionate about what works and about what most people are trying to do that will never work, or even if it works, it won't work and put you in a more vulnerable situation. And we want to simplify this for you because success actually can be simple if you understand the inner game. And make sure you stick around to the end, not just because the conversation is rich and I think it'll be really valuable for you, but towards the end, we talk about the kind of commitment that you need in order to really build a business that's sustainable and fulfilling to you. So you got a little irritated earlier today. You were activated a little bit, got on your soapbox.
I did.
And I thought it'd be great to capture some of it. So why were you so enthusiastic?
That's a good word. I've been hearing a lot and having a lot of conversations with people recently who are entrepreneurs, many of them in the coaching industry, although it's not exclusive to that. And there seems to be this desire to immediately rush to making money, like this, almost like that's what's supposed to happen. Like that there seems to be an unwillingness to like put in the time and put in the effort and really do like the work. Like it's almost, the way we talk about it in our community is that they're operating more from the mindset of an employee where it's, okay, so I did this thing, like, where's my payout, right? Where's my reward, right? I got this certification. I took this course. I attended this class. I did this one thing that somebody said to do. And now like, I don't have any results. And so
where's my money?
Where's my money? Or so fix me, right? Tell me like, what exactly is the thing that's going to work? Right. And I think it's very easy for people to look at you right after 15 years of experience and looking at your YouTube channel and all the people who, like and subscribe and engage or they look at other companies, that are just big brands and they are wanting to go from where they are right now as a new person immediately to that level, almost like they've forgotten that there's steps in between. Right? That there's a journey to walk out and I'm just not sure and a little confused at who's teaching them, like who's teaching them that. And even inside of that, I'm fascinated on the coach in me, right, is fascinated with the psychological, the craving for that, right? Like what's the thing that's going to work and what's the thing that's going to work in 5 minutes or in yesterday? And how come I'm not a six-figure coach already? And I mean, I got my certification back in August and it's November and where, like, how fast can I make $5,000 or $10,000 and how fast can I get to six figures? And I've sat with this a lot because I am who I am. And so I'm very introspective and willing to look at my own, like, where's this, like, what's my part in this? Where's my irritation coming from? And I certainly have had my own relationships with money and how I relate to that, and learning how to make a bold offer and charge for services. But at the same time, I'm like, I mean, this may sound harsh, but I'm like, you haven't done shit. Like you don't deserve it. Like you have to, like, you got to earn it. And especially with coaching, these are people's lives. And that's sacred to me. And there's a part of me that is protective of those people, where I'm like, no, sir, like, you don't deserve it. You haven't put in your time, put in your effort, put out some content. And I had a conversation with somebody a few weeks ago and was sharing with them exactly what I did, right? Step by step, exactly what I did. And their response was like, oh, that's a lot of work. Yeah. I mean, are we still tripping on like it's like the free lunch, right? Like, and I there's part of me that understands it, and I don't want to sound like just an insensitive, ass, but at the same time, like, this is, there's nothing wrong with working a job while you're building a business. There's nothing wrong with putting in that time and that effort and hustling, late at night in your garage, or staying up late, or waking up early, or working in the small moments. And maybe it's just this, there's so many things that we see on social media and Instagram ads, and everybody's with their laptop at the beach or at a coffee shop, right, with like a cute cup of coffee and all the perfect pictures. And I'm just like, I was moving different to a completely different state. And I was waking up early, and I was hustling on the side, and, going in the bathroom at my job and sending text messages and following up with people, and holding like interviews on days off, and trying to figure out a way to get this to happen, because it not happening wasn't an option for me. And there's a part of me, honestly, Sean, and I get this from you, like, I'm a snob, and I'll own that. Like, I'm good with how I feel about this work, but I feel like offended, right? Like, how dare you? Like, you don't deserve it yet. You don't deserve it. Like, you have to put in the time and the effort and be willing to get good. And I don't know this for a fact, but I have quite possibly coached as many hours for free as I have coached, if not maybe more. I genuinely don't know. As I've coached, getting paid. And even now, I've been certified since 2016, and I'm not full-time as a coach, right? I'm full-time in the coaching industry. I'm full-time in the conversation, in the world of personal development and growth. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having that paycheck, because what I will tell you is, having that stability for me, and whether that's a paycheck or whether it's, maybe somebody does have savings, or a certain amount of money on credit cards, or inheritance, or something that they can have that stability. But when I know that I'm good, then I can just show up. And I believe this is actually why I have more coaching clients, because I'm not showing up in a place of desperation. I'm not showing up in a place of need. I can genuinely advocate for the client without needing them, telling them they need more than they need because I need to eat. I'm okay with telling a client, I think we're complete, right? You're good for now, right? Because I've served you, and not feel like, no, I got to tell them something because my lights are going to be turned off. And then inside of sales conversations, I'm good to be bold and to say, this is not a fit, or this is a fit, or to massage prices, or come up with a creative payment plan to really work with somebody that I'm excited to work with, because I'm like in my business energetically and emotionally, but like my personal business is not, right, attached and in my business, where I need you to do something so that I can do something else. And that's just that's a sticky place to come into like an intimate, sacred relationship with coaching. And it's not a job, right? Where after 2 weeks of orientation, you're gonna get a paycheck. And I think too many people are doing that, coming in with that mentality. And what makes me sad is that then good coaches who are just coming into things with that mindset, they think there's something wrong with them. And because they think there's something wrong with them, then they quit. And then because they quit, there are people who were assigned to them who they don't get served. And that makes me sad.
Well, you said a lot. And thank you for the passion and the advocacy for the industry and for the people, for the clients. And it is easy to get irritated and sometimes just angry, angry at what's happening and what people are buying and what people are selling and the expectations that people have. And that compared to what we know as the truth and what people actually need to go through and what people need to understand. And I think this industry has done a huge disservice to those good coaches that you just mentioned by convincing them that this is easy, by convincing them that this is just a 2-week promotion or probation period, and then you start getting a paycheck. Right. And the more that we make it sound easy, the more disappointed people are going to be when it's not easy, and it never will be easy. Now, there's a difference between simple and easy, and simple can still be emotionally challenging because you're doing something that might be confrontational, or it might cause us to have resiliency and to keep getting back up. And it's still simple to get up and to make the phone calls or to get up and do the things, but simple doesn't always mean easy. But most people buy easy. And then when the expectation is easy and it's not easy, the easy or the default judgment or assessment there is then, well, it must be my fault, as you said, which I really appreciate you going to. So before we dive into this even further, we're supposed to tell everybody to subscribe, right?
Yes.
And yeah. So subscribe. We were just told today by our YouTube coach to tell everybody to subscribe and to use some shame. So you hit that button right now. Otherwise,
I'll bring you coaching clients.
Right. There you go. There you go. So, if you want to be notified, and we get into these kinds of conversations all the time on this channel. So please subscribe if you want to support the channel and get it out there and help us in the algorithms and as well as get, some good conversations. So this idea of what the path looks like inside the coaching arena is a huge problem. It really is. And it's a problem because there are no regulations in this industry. So there's nobody that says, hey, you can't tell people that. There's nobody that says you have to go through X number of hours before you can tell somebody on social media that you're a coach, or before you can post one of those Instagram pictures with your laptop and telling everybody how amazing life is as a coach. And some of those pictures are absolutely true. Like, one of the things that I want everybody to be very clear on is that we're not saying that everybody's lying. And we're not saying that the coaching industry is just full of, bait and switch, or full of people that are lying. I mean, you obviously know my story, and a lot of you know my story. Like, everything I have in my life that's fulfilling right now is because of coaching. It's because of the piano bench moment in 2006. And so there is amazing opportunity and amazing possibility inside of this industry. Personally, I've been doing this for 15 years. We've sold over $6 million of sales and programs in this industry. It's afforded me insane amounts of freedom and joy, and what I have with my life, and the fact that I really haven't missed anything that I wanted to be at with my kids and my wife. And I get to create my own schedule, and it took a lot. It takes a lot. And as harsh as it may sound with what you said earlier, Michelle, about you don't deserve it It's not about what we individually deserve according to our value as a person. That's not the conversation about whether you deserve people because you're good enough as a person. It's about whether you deserve their business. Have you earned their business? And have you become the kind of leader that people will follow, or the kind of coach that people will pay? And the bottom line is, because this industry is unregulated, then anybody can say anything. And because of that, there's so much misunderstanding. And I've gotten to the point now, I wasn't always here, but I've gotten to the point now where I don't really harbor a lot of resentment or irritation toward people that are selling whatever they're selling, right? I mean, smart people supply what the market is demanding. So the bigger challenge here is, what are people demanding? And we demand shortcut. We demand easy. We demand simple. We demand guaranteed. So because the industry doesn't have any regulations, then those demands are going to be met with a supply. But if you go into the medical field and go, I demand to know how to get a $40,000 client to get me to create, or to get me to perform surgery on them by Tuesday, the industry will go, that's just not how it works here. So you can take those demands and go wherever you want with them. It's not even a possibility. But in this industry, people will go, oh, really? That's what you want? It's interesting. I have a program called How to Get a $40,000 Client on Tuesday. And all it is, $37,000, right? And the frustration that we have is not against the people that are selling whatever they're selling. It's not against the people that are wanting whatever they're wanting. The frustration comes from, there's a lot of really good people not getting helped. There's a lot of really good people that deserve this industry to support them, and they no longer trust this industry because this industry has let them down. The industry that should be the one that helps them. It's not just coaching, but personal development in general. The industry that should be helping people, especially now when the world has disrupted everything. The world has traumatized or re-traumatized so many people that we need help as a human race. We need help as a society. We need people that are here to nurture and cradle and support. And unfortunately, a lot of people have not received that in the personal development industry. What they've received is a lot of people doing everything they can to take money out of the wallets without regulation. Now, it is what it is. That's what we have. And every industry that's not regulated has that exact same challenge. So I hope this doesn't sound like I'm, telling everybody that the coaching industry is corrupt or what have you. It's full of humans doing the best that humans can do to get whatever that they want. But our advice to any of you that want to be a coach is, number one, it's absolutely possible. And it's not easy. And it's not this, I'm going to give you 2 weeks and you're going to give me a paycheck, or I'm going to do X number of videos and I'm going to get this many clients. It's the employee mentality that says, I'm going to give something and then I'm going to immediately get something. And usually the give is equal to the get. And really our mind says, we hope the get is a lot bigger than the give, right? We demand that it's at least equal, but we really want and we expect that it's probably 5 or 10 times more of a return than the effort that we give. And that's just human nature. It's the way our brain is designed. Our brain is designed to protect us from wasting energy and time and money. And so our brain is constantly wanting the shortcut. So we are biologically tempted towards shortcut. That's why it's so easy to cut those checks that sound like you don't have to change anything and you can just attract magically all the success that you want in the world. That's why people keep buying the one size fits all approaches in this industry, or they buy the diet pills where they don't have to go to the gym anymore and they don't have to change their diet anymore. And the pill will just work on them, right? It'll just take all of the fat off of you, or it'll give you all the vitality inside of you. And even if it works, it doesn't work, because all those kinds of approaches do is really put a Band-Aid on the cancer. It's designed to avoid the experience of the problem. It doesn't actually heal the problem. It just avoids the experience of the problem. So if you have a problem in your body and you take a pill to let you think that problem is not there, it just will kill you faster. And it won't allow you to have the awareness and the acknowledgement to actually do anything that's going to fix the problem. And the challenge with that is most of us don't like to fix the problems. So I know we're kind of raging against like human temptation right now, but it's so incredibly important to understand what we will be tempted to do and to understand what clients are expecting out there in the industry. And we as coaches, if you want to build loyalty and if you want to actually have a brand that people trust and that people will pay for, then you've got to show up for the people with give a damn. You know, you got to really show up for the people with certainty. And it's certainty and trust and transparency that I think the marketing world is missing nowadays. I think the world in general is missing nowadays. At least we have a lot less of that than we ever had, at least in my lifetime. So we need to give what the market is missing right now. And the good news about that is that that really doesn't cost a whole lot of money in terms of our effort, right? We can do practice coaching sessions, like you said, hundreds of hours of them for some of us. Not that that's what you need to, but you've got to put in the work to build the muscles that are required to have the certainty and to learn the lessons that will then allow you to serve the people that you're meant to serve. And there's really no way around that I've seen. And I've only been doing this for 15 years. And if there was a way around it, I would have found it, I think, because I'm looking for it. I'm looking for what's the simplest way to shorten our learning curve and quicken our success curve. And what I found is the only way to shorten your learning curve and quicken your success curve and quicken your journey towards success is bust your ass more. That's the only way. It's a commitment to the application of simplicity. It's the commitment to put in more work and do more of the simple things that are going to demand success, not command success. And what you were talking about earlier is an example of how we command success. Like I've already put in the work. I've already been certified X number of months or X number of years. And when are my clients going to come to me? Or I've already done the thing that I've watched other people do, never mind that they've been in business for 10 years and they've gone through thousands and thousands and thousands of hours that I haven't gone through, but I want the same exact results that I see them getting. And I bought the program that said it was a one size fits all. It was a turnkey approach. And I like did all the things. Where are my clients? And that energy of where are my clients, of like, I've done the work, I should get the stuff now, is coming from our ego, and it's coming from our desire to get. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. It just never works, right? It just, like, I say there's nothing wrong with it because it's human nature. So we all get there. I've been there many, many times where I want clients to say yes because I have bills to pay, because I have payroll, because I have a studio that I need to pay for. I've been there many, many times. It's human nature. We can't get rid of our desire to get our needs covered. It's something to embrace, but just also understand it won't fuel you in this industry when we're helping humans with their humanity. And what humans need help with is somebody else with their humanity and somebody else who has the certainty. Now, this might sound like we're on our high horses and like you don't deserve this, like we deserve it. That's not where we're coming from. It's they deserve it. The clients deserve it. The people out there who need somebody who've been through rough seas deserve the lessons that only rough seas can teach and only hustle can give. And hustle is going to look different for everybody, and rough seas are going to look different for everybody. So your story doesn't need to look like mine, nor does it need to look like Michelle's. And we don't want you to compare your story to anybody else's story. But the bottom line is you have muscles that need to be developed, and those muscles require feedback. They require failure. They require self-doubt. They require confrontation with the things that we don't want to confront a lot of times. They require the stuff that most of us are trying to avoid. And so if we avoid the things that our success requires, where does that leave us? If the journey that we're trying to get to is the detour around the uncomfortable things that are required for us to experience in order to build the muscles that we need to build in order to have the certainty to serve the people that we want to serve, then what do those shortcuts actually give us? And if they give us a way to make the money without having the body for success, then that's actually worse than not succeeding in the first place. So put in the work, put in the work. And I know, it's easy to get unhinged a little bit as we sort of are right now, although we're probably less unhinged than we have been at times. But it's really just, I think it's believing what's possible and seeing what's probable. Like believing what's possible for the people in this industry who want to be coaches, and knowing what's possible for the clients who want coaches or want the outcome of coaching that coaching can provide that we know, but what's probable because of the expectations that most humans enter this industry with. And I agree with you. There's a sadness there. And we talk about this, like this kind of video is somewhat of a risk because people don't like hearing this. People don't like hearing the truth. People don't like hearing that it actually might take a little bit of time, that you might not just talk to 3 people and get 2 clients, or talk to 4 people and get 5 clients, which is what most people want, right? But if that's reality, that's reality. And if reality can't change, I would rather you know about it so you can prepare it and you can get the support that you need to walk through reality and walk with reality, rather than have an expectation that reality can be bent and that human nature can be changed, and that this industry actually does have a one-size-fits-all approach, and then get really disappointed when you recognize that that's not true. And most of the time, that will be too late for a lot of people to recover from.
Yeah.
All right, your turn. Go.
I remember where I was. I was on a walk. It was when I lived in Georgia, and I was on a walk around this lake at Deerfield. And I was right where I could stop and look to the lake on my left-hand side. And I remember that I was on a phone call with you, and I had built a business in the direct sales industry where by standards, I wasn't top like of the company or pay plan, but I was decently successful. And I was considering seriously stepping away and stepping into coaching. And I don't remember how I asked the question, but it was some version of like, can I do this? Like, is this going to be like, can I really build this as a business? And you said to me what I heard you say a few moments ago, which is yes, and it's not going to be easy. And that's not the first time that you've had that kind of conversation with me. I think it was about blog articles a couple of years ago. And I was asking questions about engagement or comments that I was getting. And you didn't tell me to hush, but the energy around it was like, Matt, not until you've written 100 do you even, I don't want to hear it. Like, I don't, and you and I have that kind of relationship.
I really go, Matt.
Probably.
I'm gonna have to start using that. That's good.
Yeah. And I appreciate that.
So until you've had 100, until you've written 100,
you were like, I mean, the essence of it was, we are not going to discuss this. We're not going to talk about the engagement. We're not going to look at any of the metrics. None of that stuff matters until then. And then when that happens, now we have some evidence and we can come back and we can assess what you've done. You did the same thing with videos. I remember I was at a 5-day live certification event, ECCP. And I went outside, like into the grass, right there at the hotel. And I was like, all right, like he said, 100 videos. This is number one. Because I would rather know, right? I would rather know the rules of the game so that then I can make a choice as to whether or not I want to play, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I want to play football and I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to wear a helmet, right? Like they're going to be like, okay, well, you can maybe sit on the bench or in the stands and you can watch the game, but you can't play the game because the rule is if you're going to play, you got to be in your pads and you got to wear a helmet. End of discussion. And that's helpful. That's actually for my benefit, because if they let me go in the field without the helmet on and without the pads and I got hit, which I would because it's a contact sport, I could die. And then I could also have somebody else who maybe ran into me. Now they are involved in like emotionally hurting me or killing me or paralyzing me because they let me into a game when I wasn't playing by the rules. So I, as far as I can remember, I have been a person who's appreciated knowing. And I remember stopping and hearing you say that, where I was like, okay, now I have a choice. I have this thing, this business that I don't really love anymore. And I'm not passionate about, but I'm good at it and I can do it. And I'm not fulfilled anymore. And it's not bringing me a lot of joy, but it's already going. And I can stop all of that. And I can do this thing that's going to take work and it's going to take effort. And what I know, and you've said this before, right? It's like, you're going to be there. You're going to answer the questions. You're going to help. You're going to train. You're going to tell me what I need to do. But I'm not going to feed you a line of BS to say that, yeah, by next year, you're going to be making X amount of dollars. And maybe you will. And that's the other thing. Who is it, your friend, that said, you don't have to risk it all, or you don't have to lose it all, but you have to be willing to?
Yeah, it was Woody.
I thought about that when you were talking earlier. Like, you don't have to necessarily write the 100 blog articles or the 1,000 blog articles or do the 100 videos or coach X number of hours. That might not be the case. It's about the willingness to do it, and the willingness to do it and not make any money, right? Not have a string. I think you used this analogy on a video recently, right? Like, not have a string attached to the dollar, right? I'm going to put this out, but I'm going to need it to come back. Right? Because in that place, we're not actually, there's conditions, right? Like, I'm going to celebrate you, I'm going to do this work, but I'm going to expect that you're going to give me something in return. That's not pure. That's dirty. And I think there has to be, I know there has to be a willingness to put in the time, to do whatever it takes, to not get paid, to have no comments, to have no engagement. And I'm not saying any of this is easy. I'm somebody that's like, hey, I posted something on Facebook the other day. How come nobody has liked it? Like, did you see my post? So I connect with that, right? That human like desire, but there has to be that willingness to just do it because, it's like the actualization of the thing that we desire requires us to not have to have that positive feedback in terms of the sale or the affirmation of the heart or the like or the comments. And what I have found is that when I show up that way, the thing that I was trying to get the other way, it's the energy.
Yeah.
The sales increase, the people are magnetized, people are commenting, people are engaging, because I don't need it. And my dollar and it's not just my dollar, it's my time and my energy. right? And my effort. Well, like I've been on this call for X number of minutes and this is the third time and I haven't gotten any, like all of that stuff. And I'm not saying that any of that isn't real or a valid thought to have, but to start to be aware when that's operating, because now you're putting out effort, but with a lot of expectations and a lot of conditions. And I've just not found that to work or be helpful in growing a business and energetically and how I show up. I want to know. I want to know what it really takes, and I'm coachable.
Yeah. And part of what you have to know is that you can't know.
Right.
Building a
Ugh.
business is impossible to know. You can't know what's going to work, especially in coaching where you're a unique product and each one of your customers is a unique person. So it's impossible. I mean, I can tell you everything that I've done over 15 years.
Sure.
And as soon as I'm done teaching it and before I start teaching it and while I'm teaching it, I will tell you, this doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Because I don't know. You know, the world was different 15 years ago. The world was different 15 months ago. And nothing can be known. So this journey of entrepreneurship requires not just ignorant action. That's something that I talk about a lot. Or ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. It requires ignorant action, but more than that, and probably before that, it requires ignorant commitment, which is the commitment to something that you cannot know. And if you commit to the unknown, number one, what comes out of you will be better. It's like, I'm sure most of us have the experience of singing or dancing or doing something that we otherwise probably wouldn't do if we knew somebody was watching or we knew somebody might be watching. But like if you're a little self-conscious about singing or dancing or anything else that's creative, and you know your house is empty and you know there's nobody coming, like everybody left, you got the whole house for 2 weeks or 2 days or 2 hours or whatever it is. If you know there's no chance of somebody coming through that door, the way you dance will be different than if you think somebody's watching you or you think somebody might be watching you and you're self-conscious about it.
Yeah.
There's a sacredness to creation without audience that brings something out of us differently than if we know we're being judged or we think we're going to be judged. You cannot create and judge the creation at the same time and have your creation be truly sacred to you and unique to you. There's an element of sacred creation that requires the lack of judgment. And usually for most of us, especially early in our journey, that means the lack of audience or the lack of a potential audience, right? One of the things that we talk about, we're not going to dive into it here, but the difference between production and promotion. What we're afraid of is promoting the video, but that's not a valid excuse for not producing the video. And a lot of times producing the video that you know you won't promote will give you that sense of creation without an audience and pure, unique creation. And business building is a creation. Anything that comes from you is a creation. So do you have ignorant commitment? The commitment into the unknown, the commitment that says, I don't know when I'm going to get that client. I don't know how much money I'm going to make in the first month, in the first year, but I'll go anyway. I don't know, and I will go anyway is ignorant commitment. And that doesn't mean stupid commitment. It doesn't mean careless commitment. You can learn from other people's journeys. Success leaves clues. I think Tony Robbins said that. I love the idea. You can learn from other people's recipes. You can pull the ingredients that work for you and leave the ones that don't. But you cannot follow a game plan that does not have your name at the top of it and think it's going to work for you, just like it worked for somebody else. So you have to know that you don't know and still commit anyways. I think that does a few things. Number one, it pulls this creation out of you in a different way that I just spoke to. But number two, I think that there's this energy of, I want to say deservability, and that's not really the energy in terms of a judgment perspective, but that's the only word that's coming to me right now. Maybe another one will come. But there's this energy of you've earned it.
Hmm.
And if I'm this energy, right? If I'm this entity, if I'm your purpose, and I'm holding on to all of these resources or all of these clients that you're searching for, I need to know that you're going to take action, not knowing when you're going to get these. And as soon as I believe that you're in full ignorant commitment, that's when I start sending them to you. But as long as you have that conditional commitment that you spoke to, I'm going to throw the dollar out, but it's got a string attached to it. And if it doesn't get picked up right away with the whatever the results are that I want, then I'm going to pull it right back. As long as I know that your commitment is conditional, then you're not really all in. Whatever it takes is exactly that. Whatever it takes. And you can't know what it's going to take. Now, I would also say that, I don't know if I would say more often than not, but at least a huge chunk of the time, what it's really going to take is not anywhere near what you've committed to. Like you said, if you commit to the 100 hours or the 100 videos or the 100 articles, if you commit to long-term for the sake of learning the lessons that the journey is going to give you, it won't take 100. It's the commitment. It's that line crossed called, I don't care what it takes, I'm in. It's like, oh, we have one here. So she is going to start getting some of these resources. And I also think that our minds will be open to the resources that are all around us when we don't have that energetic attachment. Like I'm going to do this as long as I'm going to be so fully committed for a month. I mean, not a calendar month, right? I'm going to take the weekends off, but a month, February, right? The shortest month. But I'm going to be fully committed for a month and only the full weeks, you know, not like the half weeks earlier, but I'm going to be fully committed for that month, you know, during the daylight hours. And after that month, I expect this. And the energy of expectation based on that kind of arrangement in the mind, right, is people expecting maximum results for minimum effort. Maximum results for minimum effort is either a lose or a lose. That's it. If you win with the maximum results for minimum effort, that is a bigger loss than if you lose with maximum results for minimum effort. Because trust me, if you win with max results on minimum effort, you'll lose later. And the fall will be harder if you build the 10th floor of your building without floors 1 through 9 underneath it. And there's a lot of people that will teach you or that will sell you or convince you that you can do that. And if you just jump to the 10th floor, that all the other ones will just magically appear underneath, or you don't really need those. You could just keep hopping 10 floors at a time. But if you sign up for minimum results, off maximum effort, you'll get better results and you'll get faster results because you'll earn it. That's the shift that I think most people don't have. You know, we talk a lot in this community about the entrepreneurial mind versus the employee mind. And not only is max results on minimum effort the employee mind, but it's the half-ass employee mind. If it's even half of an ass, it's the 1/10 ass employee mind.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna show up for my shift, stoned or drunk or hungover, and still expect that people give me money because I'm here. And so,
yeah, and there's just an energy of, maybe you used the word earlier, but there's just this energy of like entitlement. And there's this transactional expectation. I do this and I get that. And it just, the next time it'll work will be the first time ever. And I guarantee it'll never work. Not in this industry. Not where you have to have rooted certainty in who you are. And people need to feel the rooted certainty in who you are. And sometimes I say this is like go slow quickly. Do the foundational work. And when it starts to pick up, success might knock you down. Many people know, obviously, you know, Michelle, of my story of how much money we made in 2007. It's over $300,000. The majority of that money was made between April and December of that year. So it was really over about an 8-month span that I think about 270 of that $300,000+, or at least 250, was made over those last 8 months. Prior to that, 12 months, maybe, at least 8, it was everything for free, talking to everybody about anything that will listen. Anybody who will listen to anything they'll listen to. And what I know to be true is that I earned the $250,000+ between April and December of that year, from December through April of the year plus before that. And then once it hit, once it clicked, it knocked us down. Like staggeringly knocked us down. That's the foundational commitment that people need, especially in an industry that doesn't have any governing body to tell you this is what you need to do, so that we give you your permission to open up your business. I mean, how much time do people put in before they get to say they're a doctor, before they get to say they're a lawyer, before they get to say they're almost any other industry that requires skill, right? You have to put in a lot of time. And in a lot of industries, you have to prove your competency through a test. And nobody's trying to get clients before getting competent, because it just isn't an option in so many of those industries. But in this one, it is. And so people expect it. And people expect it because people are teaching it. And I think we do a huge disservice in this industry when we tell people about the sexy one size fits all, or I made $30,000 over a weekend kind of stories, because that's what people come into this industry expecting then. And as you said earlier, the good people that have that as an expectation will come to the conclusion that it's probably their fault. And if it's my fault, then I'm the problem, then I need to get perfect before this thing will work for me. And it just creates this energy of desperation that you spoke to earlier that just, it doesn't work. And so this is not our philosophical ideas. This is not us arguing over morality and ethics and what's right and wrong. And no, it's just what we know works. And we'd rather you know the truth, sign up for it, and your willingness to commit to your ignorant journey will make your journey shorter. It will make your journey better, and it will make your journey more fulfilling. Because what you'll find is that the fulfillment is actually in the journey. It's not in the outcome, and it's certainly not in the destination. And nobody will ever write you a check for your fulfillment. Nobody will ever give you something and that lead to your fulfillment. If it does, then we got to have a different conversation, because other people's money cannot determine your value, cannot determine your self-esteem. It shouldn't determine your self-esteem. And you earn the right for people's money with the activities you take and how much you bust your ass and what you commit to before you ever know about them and before they ever know about you. That's when you earn people's business. That's the only way I know, at least. So, as Michelle said, we'll give you the truth from what we know, and then you get to decide. And if you decide, that's a lot of work. Awesome. You know, you need helmet and shoulder pads in this industry. So if your commitment is to never wear a helmet and shoulder pads, well, then you don't need them in tennis. Go try that. So if there's anything that landed with any of you on this particular video in this conversation, then let us know. If there are any questions, if there's anything you disagree with, whatever, let us know. You know, we want this channel to be informational, inspirational to some degree for sure, but just real and honest conversations. And one of the things that we know is required in a journey like this, that requires personal development. And in this particular industry, if you want to be a coach about building your business, or with, you know, building your business and you are the product, that requires a community. I've never seen anybody do it alone. There's just way too many things that normal humans have going against us when we're on our own, than when we have people to go, you know what, you're not alone. I dealt with that also, or I'm dealing with it now, or this is what I found works, or have you tried this? It takes a community, and that's what we really want to provide for all of you that are watching this channel. And I really appreciate, you know, I don't think I've done this on a video, but I really appreciate all of you that watch. I appreciate, well, let me speak directly to the camera. I appreciate all of you that watch these videos, and I appreciate the comments, and I appreciate the likes, and I appreciate the care and the commitment and the presence and the give a damn and the disagreements and the agreements and all the things that you provide. So I'm really proud of this community, and I'm really proud of you, Michelle, for being the part of the community that you are, and to have the irritation that you have around what we've been talking about because of where it's coming from. You know, you used the word advocacy earlier that I think is really important and really powerful. We can advocate for our clients more when we're not desperate for our survival. And that's going to be financial, but it's also emotional. And this vessel is so critical to be stable. It's really difficult to be an unstable leader. It's really difficult to be an unstable coach. I mean, it's difficult to be an unstable human. So that's, you know, what we're advocating for in so many of the things that we do, is stability and healing and transparency and transformation. So thank you for getting on your soapbox earlier today and then jumping right back on in front of the camera. And I hope this is valuable for you guys. If you like this video, check out that video where I talk about what it actually costs in terms of expenses to start a six-figure coaching business. I think you can generate a six-figure business conservatively with $20,000 of expenses. That's a lot of profit.